There's something pretty magical about watching a couple and the love story of a couple on screen.
Okay, Bachelor. Winner. All right, mate. Let's not rub it in.
So magical.
Laura, there's something so magical about falling in love on screen.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Life Uncut. I'm Laura.
I'm Brittany.
And Brittany has some updates. Actually, we both have some updates.
No, I just think shout out to the lifers this week because I feel like you've come through with the goods. Quite often we get people say, you've made me feel less alone by talking about something.
We're just here doing God's work,
Yeah.
We're just trying to make an inclusive platform for people to feel seen and validated,
Well,
blue labias and all.
Credit where credit's due. You guys made me feel less alone. We didn't have to refresh it. I am making a choice now. But we spoke last week about my blocked cum duct.
Why don't we actually let's just insert that here.
No, we don't need to. I had a
Would you
blocked
like me
cum
to
duct.
actually put the chime in, or do you want to be the...
We can't afford sound effects.
It was many, many moons ago. I talked about having this blocked cum duct. No, you guys hadn't heard about it. We laughed.
So wait, are we putting it in? I don't know. Someone tell me.
Just continue on.
Okay, well, no, because the description of the story in last week's episode was so great. You were like, I just had this one-sided fat labia.
Elephantitis labia.
If you haven't listened to the episode, go back and listen to last week's because it was a laugh and a half. It was Britt trying to relate to my inflamed labia and vagina through pregnancy, and Britt was like, me too.
Yeah, because I didn't know that a blocked cum duct was a thing, and I've got to stop calling it that. It has a name. And the reason I want to say thank you is because I had a lot of you, actually, I shouldn't say a lot, some of you in my DMs saying you had also experienced a blocked cum duct. Let's call it a BCD.
Different from a BBC.
Yeah, somebody even didn't even want to privately DM me, like just openly called a spade on my Instagram in the comments. Just was like, hey, I had a BCD as well, gave me the name of it, like reminded me of the name about it. And I went and looked it up because I was like, oh, let's take a walk down memory lane. Okay, colloquially, it's got a few names. It is called the Bartholin's cyst, but a lot of people refer to it, my doctor did, as a Bartholomew's blockage. So they're different because you can get different cysts and different blockages. They're different things. Mine was caused, it says the cyst forms when fluid backs up due to the opening of the gland's duct becoming obstructed, often by infection or injury, leading to fluid accumulation. Now, mine was injury. It was RSI. It was overuse. It was like too much pound down. You know, it's back in the days where it's pound town.
It just got backed up. We've all been there.
You know those days, mid-20s, where people think that is how you...
No.
You know, people
No,
think
it's been
that's...
so long. Yes, I do remember them, but
You
no.
remember Pound Town?
Jackhammering is what
Yeah.
we refer it to.
Yeah, jackhammering.
No one enjoys it.
It's from jackhammering. So if your partner if your partner is jackhammering, send him this episode about a BCD. But you just have to, and it just all came back to me. I had to bathe it and massage it. So you have to bathe it in hot water and massage
Why
it.
are we referring to it like it's a child or something? It's like an external part of you. I had to take care of it. I had to put it to bed at nighttime. I tucked it in with a little flannel.
You do. You have to give it a little wash at night, tuck it in, a little massage, a little bit of cream.
Okay, I'll be honest. When you shared that story, there was a moment of me where I was like, you really don't have to do this. And then even when I listened to it back, I was like, wow, okay.
I'm not ashamed.
Great. You should be.
And if I can, people need to know the repercussions of jackhammering.
That's true.
And men might need to know because people don't realize the effect it can have on a woman's body. I didn't know it was a thing until I got elephantitis of a labia. Anyway.
How's you telling Britt she should be ashamed after the conversation came because you had blue labia?
No,
Yeah.
I know. And like you said, the update.
Sorry, I've got my own whimsical piano music. Let's take producer Keisha, let's whimsical back to Pinky and the Stinky. Don't you tell me that I should be ashamed.
Keisha's like, I don't have time to go back and find all these edits from past episodes. No, look, the reason why we're talking about this is because so many of you messaged off the back of last week's episode. We were joking, the whole blue labia thing, it came off comedian Catherine Ryan being on Jamie Lang's podcast. You guys would have seen it. I don't want to rehash it again. But the thing that I'm so... I think grateful for, but also it was startling to me how many of you slid into my DMs and in very great and graphic detail described your labias to me. It was like reading a novel. It was like ChatGPT. It felt slightly medical, but also really personal and intimate. I don't know if you think I'm a GP or
I
if
confuse you all the time.
I was into it. And then I realized it was getting a bit weird once I'd read about like the 50th person's labia in my inbox.
Did you get any pictures?
No one sent me photos.
Unsolicited.
If you want to send me a labia photo, slide on into the DMs.
I think you're going to regret saying that.
There were.
I will talk about it on the podcast.
I wonder if Instagram will block that. You know how it comes up with like the pixelated?
No, I don't think they'll block it, would they?
I don't know. Probably.
They don't block dick pics.
They do on Instagram.
Not my DMs, they don't.
Do you still receive dick pics in your Instagram?
Yeah, I'm pretty desirable for a dick pic.
They heard about a blocked cum duct.
Totally. They're like, I'll unblock that. No, I actually don't get many. I get one in a blue moon, and you can tell that they're just like sicko troll people. One person wrote to me, I sent this to Ben actually a couple of days ago. One person wrote publicly, commented, because Ben was like, what the hell? Talking about how I was a loser. They were like, you're a loser and I'm going to have so much loser sex with you in my dream or something. And I was like, what? I was like, if I'm a loser, why do you want to have sex with me? This was a comment on my page.
That's a great kink. Loser sex.
You fucking loser, I'm going to fuck you. I was like, what?
I only fuck people that I deem to be losers. Yeah. That's terrible. Anyway, look, moving along.
I discovered something on Uber. Now, I want to take you back to, remember a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how I had that really scary like Uber situation where he was like, I'm going to take you home to my wife.
But not specific to Uber. It could have happened on any ride-sharing platform.
It can happen on any ride-sharing platform, but mine was in an Uber. You know, I'm not holding that against Uber. It's just a driver. But my point was I always look at the profiles now because if you miss it, I was in an Uber where he was just being a bit weird. Nothing happened. He dropped me at my destination. There was a moment I thought I would end up in his basement, but we avoided that. Well, I didn't know this was a thing. Tell me if I've been sleeping under a rock if you knew this. So now I just go down these rabbit holes. I look at all my drivers. I click on their photos.
I do also. I also take, this is probably a bit too paranoid, but when I get into a taxi, I take a photo of their thingy, like their...
Do you? But you know you can just share your ride with someone. You just press share. You don't have to illegally take photos.
No, because that's only if you've booked it. So if you like get in a taxi at the airport and you just jump in a taxi, there's no way that anyone knows what taxi you're in. So I usually only do it at nighttime and if I'm traveling from the airport because I feel like it's, I don't know, there's something that's been drilled into me as a kid where I'm like, this is particularly unsafe.
Stranger danger.
Maybe how they were like, don't talk to strangers on the internet, don't get into the cars of people you don't know, and now we do both at the same time.
Totally. But who do you send that to? Like Matt or something?
Just a Matt. Yeah. I do it sneaky. Like the guy doesn't know I'm taking a photo of you.
Hey, you like smile? I need a passport style photo.
But also, do you not remember when we were kids and it was like houses used to have that neighborhood watch on the letterbox?
Yeah, you're a safety house.
Yeah.
I was a safety house.
Yeah, but what did you have to do to become a safety house?
Nothing.
Probably
Paid $50.
Probably back in the 80s, they were like, whatever, sign up, get the sticker, stick it on your letterbox.
Yeah, and if you
kiddies, come in.
Do you know how many people would be listening to this right now that have no idea what we're talking about? So if you're a bit younger, there was a thing where if you were just walking the streets anywhere, in any city, in any suburb, and there was like a tiny, like, I don't know, 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter yellow plastic emblem that was like drilled into somebody's letterbox. Like you would literally drill it in and that meant you were a safety house, which means if you were a kid and you were ever in trouble, you could go into that house because it was a safe place.
And
but
it was like
as if you couldn't just make a replica of
totally.
it.
It was like a silhouette of 3 green faces and it was like, that's how you knew that was a safety house.
Ours were yellow.
Oh,
no, ours was yellow. Mine was yellow.
Oh, mine was yellow background with green face. Whatever. Really irrelevant.
Maybe your stepdad made
Great
that.
tangent. Yeah, he was not a safe house.
He
He was not a fucking safe house.
That's what I mean.
We laugh about my childhood trauma.
Sometimes I go to say something and you can tell as I'm saying it, I'm like, should I be saying that? It's too far.
We've known each other for so long. It's okay. I'll pay for the therapy. It's fine.
Back to my discovery. So now that I go down these rabbit holes of clicking on their profile and having a look, I was on the Gold Coast recently and I was going to the airport and I clicked on my Uber driver's photo and then I discovered that they can upload a profile now. Did you know this?
It's like Tinder or an Uber.
Yes! So now I opened a whole profile on my driver and this is what it said. It was like, hey, my name is Jared. That's not his real name. Hey, I'm Jared and I'm currently putting myself through school. I'm studying to be a vet. The reason that I Uber drive is because I'm saving up money to buy a farm to rescue animals.
Oh my God, that is such a great way to milk some extra tips, man.
Right?
If you want like the highest amount of tips, you're going to be like, and my mum is having open heart surgery next week that I have to pay for.
This is my thought, right? I'm like, okay, so all of a sudden, even if my spidey senses were like, oh, I don't trust this guy. I'm like, oh, he wants to save animals. Yeah, I'll go back to your farm with you. Like, that's what I was like. If he asked me to go to his farm and pat the baby goat, would I? Probably. I'm like, can this be a safe thing? What are we doing now with Uber drivers' profiles? And who is vetting that?
I know. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because, like, at least with Uber, the people driving the cars have to be vetted. Like, there is a process that goes through. I mean, it's more vetted than the Tinder dates you go on, and you don't vet them at all. But also, I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. I received one recently, so we had someone come and deliver food, and they'd pre-sent a message being like, "Hey, is it okay if you tip me?" And then they explained the hardship that they were going through, and of course, like, you're going to leave a tip. But I was like,
Wait, sorry. What?
Yeah, I got a
What was the hardship?
No. Of course you're going to leave the tip. I'm not leaving a tip if someone's trying to emotionally manipulate me before they've even delivered my food. How about the food turns up first?
in an edible state.
Yeah.
No, because you'd still tip, right? If someone's saving a baby goat or someone's doing open heart surgery for their mum, you're going to tip whether the food turns up or not.
I'm such a tight ass. I don't know if
You
I've
are.
ever tipped.
Keisha's complained before when they added like a $2 tip to her bill.
And I stand by that. They added a tip at a restaurant I went to, and I regularly went there. And I had to select a button to remove it. And
Why
it was
didn't
just
you
like a
just give it
Tuesday night dinner. There was just two people.
Okay.
It wasn't like it was a big, thing.
I have a question for you. When you go to like somewhere like Macca's or Woolworths, and you know how it's like you can pay the actual amount for the items, or do you do the charity 50-cent thing? What do you do?
I actually want to spread this with everyone. This sends me insane. Do you know why? Because you pay your money to donate to the charity, but that organization uses it as a tax deduction. So yes, they give the money to the charity, but like these big conglomerates use that money to reduce the tax that they have to pay because they're like, we've made this donation to a charity.
Make the donation.
But it's your money. Like, it's better for you to make the donation to the charity yourself and use the tax deduction yourself.
But no one is. No one's going to make a $2 donation to a charity. But
Keisha,
when it's
I mean, to be fair, Britt, I do agree with what you're saying, but like that's an angle I'd never thought of before.
Yeah,
Fuck the establishment.
I'm like, they're just so dodgy. Yes, I want the money to go to the charities, but I don't want these massive organizations that are probably using tax loopholes as it is to be getting more off of their tax. Britt's looking at me like I'm the devil.
I'm shook. So you're definitely the person. You know when you go and book a flight and it's like you can pay $2 extra to help with emissions,
Carbon offset.
You would never press that, would you?
Bullshit.
You're such a tight ass.
Just fly less if you care that much about carbon emissions.
Keisha doesn't even pay her flight. She's like, can I go under the cabin? I don't need a flight. I don't need a seat. Can you just put me in a bag underneath with the dogs and with the other people?
Sorry, back to the tip. You've had an Uber Eats person message you before they've even dropped the food off with like a sob story.
Yeah, last week I got a message saying, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm on my way with your pasta." And they were talking about how they're putting themselves through school. And I was like, I guess you get a 10% tip. All right.
But then did you tip on the spot or do you wait for them to deliver? Because if you...
No, I waited for my pasta. Fuck, this is not my first rodeo. I'm not tipping you and then having you eat my pasta.
But doesn't it lull you into a false sense of security? So like if you got into an Uber or any rideshare, I'm not going to slam Uber. If you got into any rideshare car and your spidey senses went off a little bit, but then you looked at his profile and he was like, I save animals in my spare time. And
You
I
really
just like
latched onto the animals.
Well, I'm just saying, does it then give you like a false sense of security and you would feel better about it and it would negate your spidey senses? That's a genuine question.
Potentially, but like I said, I do think that they have to vet them.
No, anyone can.
It's called the halo effect. This is a real thing. It's a psychological thing where you associate a certain type of characteristic with something that it can usually be someone's job or like we've spoken about it before in terms of like doctors or like you have more trust in teachers than you would have in the everyday person.
It's altruism.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, remember back in the day when we were really young and you would go out to a club and every guy would tell you that he was a dolphin trainer because that was like the thing that people thought was hot at the time. No?
No, that's just your experience.
Someone goes to Keisha, can you tip me? I'm a dolphin trainer. She's like, it's the only thing I'll tip for.
I've never ever dated a guy who said he was a dolphin trainer. That's great. No.
I never dated any, but I remember like when I was 18 and I would go out to clubs and stuff, it would just be like, I feel like people would lie about their job to have a job that would seem more appealing, like in the sense that it was linked to something that you associated with like a moral thing, like an animal activist or something.
I once dated a guy who
The stories that come after the start of that sentence from Laura.
Yeah, one let me
Had a
take you
mattress on the
back.
floor, like to fuck my elbow. But
Once dated a guy who fucked me behind the knee. No, the same guy.
Who fucked an apple
Actually,
pie.
It's the same dude. This story is the same story. It relates to the same guy. I don't know how I don't know. I met him at a nightclub, right? And I ended up dating him for 6 years. And I thought he was the love of my life. So
Did he fuck your knee for the whole 6 years?
just last 4.
It was a slow burn. He had to groom you for
so
it.
she didn't get that Bartholomew.
No,
gland being
yeah, it was
blocked.
never going to happen to me. I just got chafe. No, so when I met him at a nightclub, I was speaking to one of his friends first, and I think it was one of his friends who said it. They must have said it as a joke, and I didn't clock it. But they were like, "Oh yeah, he's a professional surfer." And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, didn't really, never had I dated a professional surfer before, nor did I care that he was. But because it was said to me and I clocked it, I like held on to it and the guy could barely swim. And I found out 4 months into the relationship.
You've been telling everyone he's a pro surfer. You're like, yeah, he's hot.
This guy is really, wow, so athletic.
But still didn't turn you off? Like you find out after 4 months that he's completely lied about his occupation, but you're still like sold.
Britt, I would have dated anyone, okay? The bar was low. I'm actually really mean to him. I hope he never listens. He wasn't as bad as what I make him out to be.
It doesn't matter
was
if
lovely.
he listens because no one else knows who he is. No one else is going to look at him and be like, you got the fuck Laura away. Are you, hang on, someone's looking in the ocean at someone that can't surf. They're like, did you fuck an armpit once? Is that? Like no one's linking the two.
Sometimes I feel bad. That's
Do
all.
you?
Yeah.
For outing his kink.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Do you
yeah.
reckon he still does it?
Probably with his lovely wife.
Oh, he's
No
married.
doubt. Yeah, I think so.
They don't have kids, do they?
He hasn't been able to get her pregnant and they can't figure out why. I shouldn't make that joke because I don't know what they're going through. That was fucking
Well,
horrible.
no, because the sperm doesn't go through the underarm ducts. Oh my God. Hang on.
All right, look, I have a small update from me before we get into things that are probably more important than anything we've talked about thus far. Firstly, 2 weeks. I told you we're doing the countdown, guys. I went and saw my obstetrician yesterday and I was like, get this baby out of me. And he said, I can't do that
not yet.
yet.
He said, no. I actually pushed Laura. I said, can you go and see how many days early it can come so I can be there and
because
birth the child?
Britt's leaving. No, so I walked into my obstetrician and honestly, I know I said about a month ago that this is the best pregnancy I've ever had. It is, technically. But now that the baby's posterior and also just has gotten bigger and it's dropped down, I'm so uncomfortable in my hips and in my pelvis. And so I wake up in the morning and I feel as though there's just like so much laxicity in my hips that there's nothing holding them together. And so I'm like waddling and it hurts. And if I sit for too long, I get really stiff. Anyway, I'm just in a lot of pain now.
I'm only just, to be honest,
Started watching me waddle.
the last couple of days, because I always say to Laura, and anyone that knows Laura in real life, but Laura carries her pregnancies very well. Like it doesn't seem to affect you besides the fact where you've been vomiting and coughing your whole other pregnancies.
Yeah,
but
this
like,
one's been great.
You by all means, like look like you deal with it really well and carry it really well. And it's only the last couple of days that I've like, oh, she's hit the point. Like you're walking differently and you're in pain. Like you're moaning a lot when you get up and you can't get comfortable.
You're actually whinging a lot.
I am.
So you won't shut the fuck up about your cabbage. No, but I've only just noticed it.
I am, and I am in pain. Like I'm really, really uncomfortable now. So like sitting and like working and just doing everything is harder.
Existing.
It's just being alive is really hard. And then today I woke up and I walked from the bed to the bathroom and I was like, fuck, why is the sole of my foot hurting now? Nothing's happened. I just went to bed. The sole of my foot is hurting. I think it's just the extra weight. Anyway, so I went in, I asked if I could be induced. He said no, but he was like, next week I'll give you a stretch and sweep. So Monday I'm having a stretch and
Oh
sweep.
man, what's my job?
Well,
Why does a professional get to do it?
but you're so weird. But I've had them so many times before and they've never done anything, right? So
What actually is it? I joke about wanting to do it. I just need to finger you. I don't actually know what it means.
you get fingered. Basically, your obstetrician sticks a couple fingers in and he like sweeps the membranes of your uterus.
So he's like trying to break the membrane?
No, not break them. It's like it stimulates them. So it's quite deep. So basically you have to have an open cervix already. It has to be like a centimeter, I think. Okay, if this is wrong and not the correct medical
We're not
advice,
doctors.
I'm not a doctor. Disclaimer is here.
Allegedly.
But they stick some fingers in you and they go in as deep as they can and they sweep the membranes to try and stimulate
With
birth.
just their fingers or like a sweeper? Like a
No,
what?
just,
like a
just
duster?
fingers. Just fingers. Yeah.
As Britt's doing that, she's like got her fingers up saying that she wants to do it. Her nails are
I'd
like
cut them. I told her I'd cut my nails. I'll do anything to do it.
Yeah. Anyway, they're
I'll do anything to birth Laura's child.
okay, hold on. I can read it for you. Yeah, a stretch and sweep, also known as a membrane sweep, is a procedure performed by a midwife or a doctor to try and start labor.
Or a podcast
or your podcast co-host. During the procedure, a provider inserts a gloved finger into the cervix, gently stretches the cervix, separates the amniotic membranes, the sac surrounding the baby, from the uterine wall.
Wow.
This action is intended to stimulate prostaglandins, which can help to ripen the cervix and initiate contractions. Nothing like a ripe cervix.
So is it?
Here I
It
come.
must be pretty. I don't want to say painful, but it doesn't sound like it's comfortable if they're literally trying to like separate
No,
the
it's
membrane
not.
from the uterine wall.
It's not, like I said, I've had loads of them and they've never worked for me. I don't find them painful. Some women do. It's kind of like,
How long's a piece of
going
string?
and getting birth control. Some people are like, oh my God, it was the most agony I've ever been in. Other people are like, barely felt it. Like it seems like there's such a varied experience with these types of things. But yeah, it's happening very soon, guys. 2 weeks. I will have a baby. It will be out of my vagina
It's
and
just
in the world.
annoying. No, sorry, it's not annoying. I'm happy for you.
Tell me how
It's
you
a-
really feel.
No, let me finish my sentence. It's annoying.
Maternity
that I'm not-
leave is actually so annoying. Fuck.
It's annoying that I'm not here. Like
Yeah.
I'm only away for a week in 6 months, and that's when you chose to have your baby. Like you did this to me.
I think I told you about the baby first
You did
before you
Yeah.
booked your
I
flights.
actually booked. I was like, "When's Laura having a baby?" And then I booked my flight.
Way to make it about you.
No, it's just that like it's annoying because you want to be here for your friend when that happens, and like you want to be around and whatever else.
Also, if anyone does want some contraception, though, I know from one hand we're like heading straight back into the baby years, but then on the other hand, we've got what, Lola and Marley, 6 and 5.
What? Like you have to think about that. What have I got?
What have I got? Like, yeah, literally trauma. No, the other morning, Lola. So like Lola and Marley, I feel are at an age where they're really pushing the boundaries, right? Like they're normally they're amazing kids. I don't have anything to complain about them, but they want to test, and they want to know the why. So if you say don't do that, they're not the type of kids that go, okay, mummy. They'll be like, prove it. Tell me why I can't do that.
Yeah.
Prove it to me why it's going to be an issue. And their biggest thing that they're doing at the moment is climbing into the cupboards. So like if they want food or they want something, instead of waiting for me to get it or like accepting that it's a no, if I say, no, you can't have that to eat, 2 seconds later, Marley will have climbed into the cupboard to go and get it for herself.
Yeah, it just
so this
pushes it.
has resulted in Marley pulling the entire shelf out of the cupboard and it falling down on her. That's happened once. She's fine. Obviously was a bit rattled. So I thought that the lesson had been learned, right? And like I'm not a yelling parent, but there's been a few times where I've yelled at them because I've turned around and they're climbing into the cupboard. Well, I turned into a yelling parent the other day because Lola had been asking, it was like fucking 6 o'clock in the morning, and she'd been asking for a cheese stick over and over and over. And I was like, eat your breakfast and then you can have cheese stick. Eat your breakfast first, then you can have cheese stick. Hey, honey, eat your Nutri-Grain and then you can have cheese stick. I turn around for 2 minutes. And I hear this almighty smash, and then she starts crying.
Oh, God.
And I turn around, and the fridge door is open, and she has used the shelves in the fridge as a ladder, and she has climbed the ladder of the fridge.
Oh my God.
And in doing so, she has dragged and broken every single plastic shelf, like every single plastic shelf. Snap, 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 snap. Boom, 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 boom.
The entire fridge.
Every soy sauce, every jam, eggs, like anything that you would put in the door of a fridge is now smashed on the floor along with every single fucking tray.
Did she get the cheese stick?
She got a, do you know what? She was so upset I gave her a fucking cheese
Did she
stick.
eat the cheese stick?
She was so upset that I was like, just have a cheese stick. I hate my life.
But this is one of those things, unfortunate for you, expensive error, but like they don't understand unless they make the mistake. Like I'm sure she'll never climb again. She's not going to climb the fridge again.
Fridge door parts are really expensive.
Yeah.
I am really coming across as a tight ass in this episode.
You are.
But they're really, really expensive.
Yeah.
And you have to get like the exact right ones because they just change it ever so slightly. A couple mil this way,
100%.
different direction.
So our fridge is a particularly old fridge and it came with the house. And so we looked it up to replace all of the drawers in the fridge and it's $860.
Wow, you may as well get a new
for the
fridge.
plastic drawers, or it's $2,500 for a new fridge. And I was like, well, of course we're going to buy a fridge because the fridge is already so old that buying the drawers doesn't make any sense. So that was like a $2,500 error that she made in the
That's an
morning.
expensive cheese stick.
That cheese stick costs so much money.
You better enjoy
Hope you
that
enjoy that craft.
And you're going to eat that raw egg on the ground. We don't waste food in this house.
And I just didn't have the capacity to deal with it because then I'm like so pregnant. My hips are hurting and I'm on the ground cleaning up jam and eggs with a kid crying with a cheese stick in the corner.
And you're like, what have I done?
I was like, why am I having a third?
Yeah,
Stick with
don't
it.
stretch and sweep me. Keep it in there. Hey, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, my fringe. So if you're watching this on YouTube, or any socials, I do have my clip-on fringe in. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a clip-on? That looks so real. Yes, it is a clip-on. I got you. I fooled you. I am.
She is wearing a toupee today. Brittany's toupee.
I am Donald Trump. Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering when you're going to start covering that bald patch. The thing you refer to as a double cowlick.
No, a double crown, and it
sorry.
is. No need to bully me about my hair loss. I have a double crown that makes me look bald. It's at the back of my head. It is not a bald spot, but it appears that way. I don't have a toupee for the double crown yet. But Keisha got me onto these fringes a little while ago, and I was wearing it for a little bit, and then I just stopped because Ben was giving me a really hard time. Anyway, it's come back because I am just trying to cover some of the open wounds I have on my forehead from my skin cancer treatment. But I like it. I quite like my fringe. And I've been thinking like maybe I cut it, maybe I don't. But Ben has said this morning, he was like, oh, the fringe is back. Because he knows I wore it yesterday. And I explained why. This morning he's like, oh, the fringe is back. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of vibing it. Like I think I'm going to keep it. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, you don't like it at all? And he's like, not really. And I was like, not one bit. He's like, no. And I was like, how much no? And he's like, so much no that if you had that fringe on Raya, I wouldn't have swiped on you. And I was like, not even a hookup. He's like, no, I take that back. He's like, we would have banged for the one night stand. He's like, because no one cares about a fringe then. But he was like, I don't know if we would date it. And I was like, cool. Well, I hate how you shave the sides of your hair.
Oh, it doesn't.
And then we got into a hair fight.
I really like how you took it to a petty place.
Yeah.
I like that you were like, I'm insulted by something that's actually not mine,
But
and
no-
it's a chosen piece of something I've clipped into my hair.
But now he's married me that I'm like, I'm almost so petty that I'm like, do I just cut a fringe? Because he said he doesn't
I
want
think I kind of would, to be honest. Like, he deserves it now, and he should suffer through your fringe.
Because he keeps shaving his head.
All this time you thought it was your personality that won him over. It turns out it was your forehead.
It was your forehead. I have a great forehead. No, I mean, obviously he's joking. He
It's
loves
completely
me.
wrinkle free.
He loves me. But I have good news, Keisha. So my hairdresser, Keisha also took as her hairdresser, Alex. We love him. He flew to Bali with me to do my hair over for my wedding. And he stayed with us for a couple of days. He's the best. Shout out to Alex. He listens to every episode. But he messaged me this morning because he saw my fringe. He's like, look, the idea of the fringe is a vibe. He's like, but I think I need to just order you and Keisha one. He's like, that I trust and love, and cut it to you guys and properly and color. And I was like, is it not working? He's like, the vibe's there. He's
No,
like,
do you know why? It's because you can see the part of your hair underneath
not
it.
if I just talk like this.
It's because I went and got my hair done the other day, and I actually took my fringes in so that he could color match them because
Yeah.
I've gone a bit blonder. And I was like, oh, my fringes are going to be a bit too dark now. And he
I'm
looked at it and he was like, absolutely not. He's not participating in our fringe obsession.
I will say this though, like anyone who's ever, because you guys haven't cut a fringe, like not for a long time, I don't think.
I've had them a couple of times in the past. I love it for the first like 4 days.
Yes.
And then I get so over the maintenance of it because you've got to do it. And like both of us are pretty lazy with hair.
I need to find you a photo, Laws. This is when my nickname was Lego Man. I had the jet black hair, the heaviest straight fringe you've ever seen.
How old were you though at the time?
Too old. 17, 18.
Okay, well no, that's young. That's experimental time.
But then it went down to my shoulders and it was dead like around my hair. It was I don't know what I was thinking.
So I post-bachelor went through a fringe phase, but I went through a curly fringe phase because I can't handle, like I actually have really curly hair, which probably no one realizes because I always wear it back. But I went through like a kind of a bob and then I cut a fringe in. And Matt at the time was really supportive. He was like, yes, I love that. He's like, you look great. And recently I was like, oh, I think after I have the baby, I might cut my hair and cut a fringe again. He was like, oh, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, see? I reckon guys don't like fringes
And I was
don't
like,
know why.
what do you mean? You always said you liked it. And he was like, well, what was I going to say? He's like, I'm not going to say I don't like
He
it.
lied.
So he lied to me.
Yeah, I think that's
And
what
I-
men do.
I felt empowered. I kept getting it done because I was like, everyone likes this. No one's being honest.
I think fringes, and there are certain things in life, fashion trends, haircuts, hairstyles, there are certain things that are for women that are not for men. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like women do things for women, and I think women like fringes on other women, and I'm not convinced men do, and I can't figure out why. I can't get to the bottom of it, but maybe somebody will know.
This feels like an Instagram study. You know,
That's
when you
what I
see them,
mean.
you're like, 76% of men don't like fringes on women. No, we don't know where it came from. We don't know where the stat was pulled from, but you had it here first.
I feel like the reverse is mustaches. Like, I hate my boyfriend's mustache, and he has it more because I hate it. I feel like he gets a bit of a rise out of it.
I disagree. I love a mustache.
Do
I like a
you?
mustache
Yeah,
too.
Matt when he grows his mustache, I think it's hot.
Really?
Yeah, I get
Laura
full daddy
likes
vibes.
it tickles her blue vagina. Something everyone's been talking about recently, and we haven't touched on it at all, but we're going to today, but bear with me. It's Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson's quote-unquote relationship. So to catch up to speed if you've missed it, they filmed a movie, The Naked Gun, together. They're a couple in the movie, and has been this question of like, are they or aren't they together in real life? And the world has been absolutely shipping them as a real life couple, like myself included.
Well, because they've both had he's had a very tragic story with his wife passing away and being widowed. And then I think everyone fell in love with Pamela Anderson off the back of her documentary that came out a couple of years ago, where she really redefined the identity around how people view her. Like, I think prior to that, people didn't have a lot of grace for Pamela Anderson. And then we watched that documentary and we were like, oh, I love her too.
And I think the thing is, it's exactly that. But with Liam Neeson, he has been such a forefront of Hollywood acting his entire life. We all love him. He doesn't step a foot out of place. His wife, Natasha Richardson, died in 2009, quite a while ago, in this really tragic skiing accident. And since then, he has never publicly dated. Like, he raised his kids and he's always just said, that she was the love of my life. And I think this is a huge part about why the world got behind them so much as well, is because they've both had such a turbulent and unfortunate love story.
Totally.
So whilst the world is behind this love story, TMZ has come out and said, hey, we have it on good authority from an anonymous but very close, reliable source that this is a showmance or a PR stunt to promote the movie. I think that got a lot of people offside. Now, showmances are not something, they're not new. We all know about them. We know they exist. But I feel like in the last couple of years, I feel like we're pulling a curtain back to the general public on how prevalent they are and what they do for people and what they do for the movie to promote it. But Pamela Anderson came out with this statement a few days ago.
I do not and will never feed into PR stunts. That would be a death sentence. I am authentically driven. I am superstitious when it comes to love, and I'm not comfortable sharing any shred of my romantic life, for as you can see, it is only built up and torn down in days in a media culture that is quick to judge and ruin it. I know I will fall in love again and again on screen. That is my job. There are no silly games being played. I am sincere. Do not mistake my kindness for weakness or my boldness for bitterness. I am here on this journey, not for money or for fame, but to see what I'm made of. In truth, hard work, and to leave behind an honest legacy my family can be proud of.
I think the world's even more confused now because she's adamantly stating like she is not about a showmance and she's never going to do it. But they also have never confirmed that they're together.
Yeah, look, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole of just the two of them, because I think like the really interesting conversation in this lays in the fact that this is becoming such a prevalent part of like the press and media tours that we get really invested in the characters on a screen. And do we need those characters to translate in real life to get around wanting to watch a movie or to feel more connected to the movie? Or is it like just a really great strategy in order to prolong press for as long as possible, right?
Yeah.
Because once the magazines have written about a movie, there's not much else to talk about, except for what's happening in the real lives of the actors. I guess the thing about this specific situation, though, and whether Pam and Liam are actually together or aren't together.
I still hope they are, but
I know, but now it's the doubt that's being cast and the lack of validation. And, maybe it comes down to a greater question is like, are we deserving of the validation? Like, as the public, and we've said this about so many things in the past, like, do you have a right to know? Are you expected to get an answer to this? Pamela's been very, very honest, saying that she's not going to speak about her relationship. She wants to keep things private. Can you have that privacy whilst also being on a press tour and kissing and canoodling and having these really intimate moments, which would suggest a relationship? I don't know if those two things are compatible.
It's too hypocritical to me. Like, I think if you don't want to talk about your private life and that's a boundary you want to have, by all means, but you can't deliberately try and provoke that type of conversation and then be like, oh, no.
yeah, the thing is, it's like, of course, we're not entitled to something. Absolutely not. And I agree with you, Keish. And especially in Pamela's defense or in this very specific situation, she's had her sex tapes leaked in a relationship. So she feels even more like I've learnt like a pretty valuable lesson. Like, I'm going to keep my life private for the rest of eternity. I get that. But I agree with you. It is the the teasing of it, but then not wanting to confirm it and not wanting to deny it. And for me, when I read this article from Vogue, and it incited some feelings that I don't usually have. I don't usually care that much, to be honest. But the article is, "Can Hollywood please stop selling us press tour relationships?" And I agreed with it. I was like, yeah, I'm personally over it. I understand the need for it, but it seems like it is just like a part and parcel when a PR firm is putting their promotion together. It's like, okay, so we're going to go and do this promo here and we're going to do this. And obviously you guys are going to pretend to be in a relationship for 6 months. And it just seems like it's becoming a standard part of promotion. But it's actually doing the opposite for me. And I wonder how many people feel the same way. It does not make me want to go and see that movie at all. It makes me annoyed. Because I'm like,
you're like, I'm enlightened now. I will not be fooled.
I personally don't need to see a fake relationship in real life, and are they or aren't they, to be like, oh, I wonder what their chemistry is like on screen in a rom-com. Like, you don't need to fool me into seeing the movie. If you're promoting a movie well enough, then I'll want to go and see it. But I find the opposite effect now, and I felt it with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell.
Yeah, they're a really interesting one. So, I mean, you guys might remember the movie and like all the press that followed on from that. The movie's Anyone But You. And interestingly, I have like a little tiny peek behind the curtain of this. I don't know whether this is going to get me in trouble saying it or not, but well, whatever.
Yeah, it's done now. We'll let it out.
It's been so long. So they've come out since and said that they lent into the PR ability of people assuming that they had some sort of off-screen chemistry. Sydney Sweeney was engaged and Glenn Powell was in a relationship with his American girlfriend for 3 years. She was in Australia. So very interestingly, we had a Tony May photo shoot, right? So we booked this beautiful model who was here from America. She was there in the studio. We were doing the shoot and she was like, oh yeah, I'm here with my partner. He's filming a movie. Things are not great at the moment with him. And we were like, I was like, tell me more. Had no idea that her partner was Glenn Powell and they'd been in a relationship and he's like he's not fucking Sydney Sweeney. Anyway, she mentioned that there was like some stuff going on in their relationship and whatnot. And she was like, oh, I'm finding it particularly hard, this version of what he's filming. I didn't really understand any of it at the time and I didn't pry into it. But then, 6 or 7 months later when the film came out and I put all the pieces together and then I saw it in the news that this model girlfriend, and I was like, that's the girl from our campaign.
We should have got her for an interview.
I know.
It's not too late. It is not too late.
But I question a couple of things because I'm like, imagine being in a relationship, having someone who you love, who you're committed to, and also feeling as though you need to lean into the real life PR ability of this showmance that potentially is or isn't real, like, and how damaging that is to the other people in your lives. And the thing is with their relationship and why that was so, when I say their relationship, I mean Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. The reason why it was so interesting is that we seem to, as a public, completely excuse the potential of cheating or the potential of infidelity if we have shipped those characters on TV screen because we've convinced ourselves that they belong together. We've convinced ourselves, but their chemistry is so undeniable that of course this was going to happen.
Like they fell in love in a movie and then it transcended to real life.
And totally,
who cares if they're married?
And they're acting. It's not real, but also it has real implications on the people's lives that they actually do have relationships with. It's fascinating to me.
I think patient zero of this was like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Absolutely.
Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, like everyone kind of shipped that to an extent because they had this hot, sexy chemistry on screen. And I think I'm kind of wondering about whether that, or at least relationships like that, may have spurred on the insistence of PR firms and PR people to kind of say, well, the scandal of that made the movie one of the biggest things of the decade, and it turns out that relationship continued and Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt broke up. And sometimes I like to take a step back and go, we can blame the people involved in this. We can blame the actors, we can blame the movie directors or whoever, we can blame the people doing the PR. Are we the reason that this happens?
Absolutely.
Like, in a way, I'm kind of like, have we kind of done this to ourselves? Because I feel like it must have been the fact that we were all so invested. Twilight with Robert Pattinson and Kirsten Stewart and Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. Like all movies made around that time, I think, were the ones that maybe started this desire to have that relationship be real in real life.
Yeah, and I think it is a case where there has been so many instances where real relationships have transpired and the public have, there is something pretty...
eaten it up, haven't we?
Yeah, there's something pretty magical about watching a couple and the love story of a couple on screen.
Okay, Bachelor. Winner. All right, mate. Let's not rub it in.
So magical.
Laura, there's something so magical about falling in love on screen.
No, there is though. I mean, what about The Notebook? Like watching that relationship unfold to then know that they actually have a relationship in life. Like there is this fantasy element around it. Like, does it match up to what they shared on screen?
No, but I think there was that when it was organic and real, and now it is so manufactured. And I want to use this as an example. Don't Worry, Darling, Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde. Most of you, I'm going to assume, maybe not, most of you are probably like me and you know so much about that relationship and what happened and how it unfolded and the fighting and the controversy.
The age gap and the divorce.
The divorce papers that were served on stage, all of this stuff. How many of you know about the movie? I didn't see it. I don't know it. I don't know what it's about, but I know everything about it. I think sometimes it can overshadow the film itself and it takes away from it. Personally, I think the question is, does a showmance add to your desire to go and watch a film? I think it used to when it was real and organic and romantic and we were sucked in without them trying. And now I think it is so over manufactured that it's turning people the other way.
I think that people have become very cognizant of it and we're very aware. And like with anything, with social media, with transparency from influencers, with transparency from actors, like we have become so much more aware of when we're being fooled as a general public. And I think we have less allowances for bullshit, you know? And so I understand why people like you, Britt, you see that and you're like, oh, I find it really frustrating and it actually turns me off, like gives me the ick about the movie.
Because I don't want to be lied to anymore.
Yeah, it just feels inauthentic and it feels like it lacks transparency.
You love it.
I don't love it. It definitely doesn't rile me up in a way that makes me like stay up at night. I kind of like with the whole Glenn Powell thing and Sydney Sweeney, I was like, oh, they do kind of look like a cute couple. And then I watched the movie and I was like, well, that would have been nice, wouldn't it? Obviously, it wasn't real, but
isn't it funny that then it takes away, and it goes back to a point Keisha just made, but it's wild that it can take away from the real life situation of people cheating on their partners. We just don't care as much.
Yeah.
Even like with Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie, I was always team Jennifer, but it didn't make, they still were a hot couple. Like Angelina and Brad was still a hot couple. And as much as even the fact that we're like, as a society saying, what team are you? Because it was always team Angelina or team Jennifer. The fact that we're not actually seeing two people that are lives are being ripped apart. We're okay with it because they're famous and they're hot and they fell in love on screen.
Yeah, totally.
Like we just give a free pass to them.
And also at the end of the day, like we're all watching this as a spectator sport. Like we have no actual insight into any of these relationships,
Well,
into the reasoning why they break down. Yeah, I mean, a small conversation that happened on a photo shoot when I like had to put the pieces together afterwards, like I would say it's still a drop in the ocean of whatever is going on. But we're seeing it now. Like, I mean, there's the new movie that's out. Everyone is now talking about Zoe Kravitz and Austin Butler. And it is fascinating. And I do think we have this incredible appetite for celebrity couples and for the fantasy of what those celebrity couples could be, a little bit of a peek behind the curtains almost. And we just hope, I think the way that the Showmances kind of, the evolution of them or the lifespan of them when they're not real is that they're all in the press, they're all hot and heavy during the tour period. There's lots of flirting, there's lots of just like that on-screen chemistry is off-screen chemistry and it all becomes very blurred. But then there's no longevity to it, obviously. Like they dissolve very quickly, those relationships, and you're left within a couple of months being like, but are they together or did they break up? What happened? And there's never any clarity. Whereas
Laura's like, give me the clarity.
But they never put out a public statement.
No.
They never acknowledgement.
Respect my privacy.
It's always the same thing. And I think that's what makes people feel angry. It's not that we feel as though we're entitled to know yes or no. It's that we don't want to be led down the garden path to then be told, respect my privacy. And it's like, no, that's not about privacy.
You invited us in.
You lied to me to get me invested. And now you're telling me that I can't be invested because you got what you wanted out of me, which was my eyeballs on your film and my investment of my money. So I do think that there is a reason why people kind of are at a point where we're like, fuck, we're over it.
Yeah, one extra layer of criticism that I've started to put onto these kinds of things is that I'm like, firstly, is the movie so shit that you have to have a fake relationship to get press about it? Like, is people's word of mouth not good enough? Secondly, what are you trying to hide? Like, why are you so willing to get into a fake relationship? Is it because you want to grow your audience size? Is it just because, instructed to do it so that it gives, PR for the film? Or like, do you have some type of scandal going on that you're trying to avoid? Are you trying to write your image in a better way? Like,
I mean, they help each other. All of those relationships with people help each other for whatever reason. One of them has something coming up that they need to promote. One of them is usually a bigger person. One of them might have been a bad boy that needs to clean up his image and date like a golden girl. And I say that because I know a couple that did that from Hollywood. I like through insider sources. I know that there are people that call and say, hey, this person's going through rough PR at the moment. Is there someone on your books, like they call PRs and managers, there's someone on your books that you think might have something coming up that's wholesome, that can like help clean up it's 100% a tactic that they use. And I think at the end of the day, whatever, that's okay. I don't really care that much. And Pam and Liam, they're a good example. And I feel bad using them as an example because I love them and I don't think that they're bad people, but I don't think, as close as I am with Liam, I don't think he'd do this. I think with his life and who he is and his morals, I don't reckon he's leaning into a showman.
But see, like the fact
They love each other.
The fact that you even say that is so funny, that you have this like idea of the person that you think Liam Neeson is.
I know.
Purely because he's been through a great tragedy. I think sometimes
the halo effect again.
Yes, we look at great tragedy and then we go, oh, they must be a great person.
It's not the tragedy. It's also he's shown who he is for the last 20, 30 years. Like we've seen who he is.
He can rescue you if you've been kidnapped in France.
He will find you. He will find you. If you're under the bed, he will find you.
and he will.
I have a very specific set of skills.
He will fuck up that perpetrator. Look, I mean, the last thing I want to ask though in this, and I know we've kind of full circled back to Pamela and Liam, do you actually think they're in a relationship? Genuinely?
I think that they have formed a really beautiful connection. I think that they probably love each other in a way. I'm not convinced they're in a relationship, but I'm not convinced it's a showmance. I think they genuinely care about each other. And I know they're like, their kids are the same age and their kids have become friends. And I think that they have intertwined their lives, but I'm not convinced they're in a full-on relationship. But I think there's something there for sure.
I am still questioning it. Like, obviously it's based on nothing, but my feeling is that platonic relationships don't evolve into that type of behavior, I don't think. Like, not as in a totally platonic heterosexual relationship where you're super flirty and kissy and like grabby. And I don't know, for me, I'm like, I'm yet to experience that, and for it to not
You're
have
still waiting.
I'm yet to have a platonic relationship like that doesn't actually have any of the sexual chemistry that
I've offered to stretch this with you multiple times.
Why are you being, for someone who is like so anti any type of lesbian action, which is you, Britt, the fact that you're so insistent on giving me a stretch and sweet it's just confusing me.
Sexuality's fluid.
It's just funny that you
not Brit's apparently.
It's just funny that you can say you're still waiting for that platonic relationship to escalate, and I've offered it to you multiple times. Like that's my point.
I don't know. What about you, Keish? Do you think they're in a relationship, or do you think it's part of the PR stunt?
No, I think I could end up regretting this, but I am 0% chance. Like, I just don't think they are. I think that, their affection towards each other, I have that type of affection with a lot of my gay friends, like where we're touchy and we'll kind of like cuddle into each other and be very, like, very affectionate with each other. I don't think that if you were in the early stages of a relationship, especially someone like Pamela, who has just been so fucked over by the public in terms of her relationships being exposed in ways that she didn't consent to, that type of person would be ultra careful about, having a relationship that they weren't in control of the narrative around.
And I also think if you preach privacy in what you speak, you behave privacy in what you show. Because I think, these celebrities, they've done the dance. They know how to have privacy when they want it. And they know how to give it away when they don't.
Yeah, and I do really like both of them. But that's why that comment she made at the film festival where she's like, I do not and will never feed into PR stunts. I'm like, that's just not true though. Like, you have been feeding into it, whether it's been jovial or whether it's been like, pretending to make out and get caught on the Today Show behind the scenes. Like, you have been leading into it. So don't pretend as though you're like morally above it.
No, and I think what she's doing there is, and fair play,
gaslighting people.
Yeah, what she's doing there
gaslighting.
is emotional manipulation. But no, I think what she's doing is, and they've been clever with it. They've never been seen actually kissing or doing anything like that. Like, they've kissed on the lips, which you do with a friend or somebody you care about. They cuddle, they do all of these things that could be something that is a best friend. It could be someone that you've hooked up once. It doesn't, they've been very careful with exactly what they show so that she can't be caught in a lie. But I also think we have to remember Liam Neeson's 73 and Pamela Anderson is 58, nearly 6 years old. But a 73-year-old's relationship looks different. They're not going to act in the same way. They're not going to speak in the same way. I'm not being an ageist, but when you're in your 70s, the way that you show up in a relationship or project it or talk about it is very different to when you're Sydney Sweeney in your 20s and you're, being overly sexualized or whatever. It's hard for us, I think, to put our lens on what a relationship with a 73-year-old. How is a 73-year-old hard launching a relationship? I don't know. Well, I don't know what they're doing.
In the newspaper.
Yeah, like it's I don't know. It's interesting, but it's, we're getting too stuck on them. It's not about them. It's just about the idea of like, do we actually need it anymore? And are we over Showmances to sell a movie? It's time for Accidentally Unfiltered. And
I've been forbidden from reading ahead on this one, so I don't know what this is,
Well,
which only means it's good.
no, it had reference to you, but it was very funny.
Fuck.
No, not in a bad way.
Can Laura please stop talking about her blue vagina?
No, probably worse than that. So
Great.
similar to Laura, when my kids come across my vibrators, I say that they are massage guns for my neck.
How often are your kids coming across them? Like
That's what I was
mine's happened
wondering.
once in my entire life. So like put that somewhere higher.
Yeah, because the statement isn't when my kids came across my vibrator. It was when my kids come across my vibrator.
Multiple times.
It's multiple
Also, I know kids can climb. We established that at the start of the episode, but they're not climbing for vibrators. They're just not yet.
She thought it was a cheese stick.
Okay, so when my kids come across my vibrators, I say that they are massage guns for my neck for when I have a headache, because we do actually have like a proper massage gun. So I thought that this was a good cover. I mean, I have one of those massage guns. They do look different to a
They're
vibrator.
very different. Imagine pounding your vulva with a massage gun. Has anyone tried?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they would
imagine.
be.
I reckon that would feel terrible.
Yeah. How did Britt get that Bartholomew
Yeah.
thing?
I said, yeah, exactly. I said I just had a sore groin. Anyway, I thought this was going to be a good cover. So one day my mum was visiting and she brought my 86-year-old nan along for the visit too. When I asked my nan how she's been going, she mentioned she's been great, but she's been getting these ongoing headaches. Shortly after that, my 2.5-year-old appeared with not one, but 3 of my vibrators, saying, "Here, Nanny, this is for your headache." I literally fell off the couch trying to get them before everyone caught on, but it was too late. I did not succeed, and he placed them in her hot little hands. 3
Wow.
vibrators for her headache.
What a caring child. You've raised like such an empathetic child.
But do you
That's
think,
sweet.
Do you think the 86-year-old grandma knew or just started rubbing them on her neck?
I don't know. I reckon she knew. I reckon she knew. 100.
They weren't around back in the day.
People know now though. They're everywhere. Like
but
they're on every
86.
they're on every news site. They're in every magazine. Like
Vibrators can look cute now. I don't know if a 2-year-old brought to an 86-year-old and was like, "This is a massage gun." There's a chance that she might actually start to rub it on her neck.
go for gold, Nana. I hope it makes you feel better. It's all about self-care these
Also,
days.
Let's go back to the elephant in the room. How are your kids finding your vibrators this frequently?
And you know that you can just tell them that it's a massage gun and then move it to a new location. That's what I've done. I've moved it to a different location about 3 times now. And like all I'm waiting is for Matt to cotton on and be like, why does it now keep moving all the time? Like how often are you using it?
Find my vibrator. Where is it today?
He's like, you're not having sex with me, but you're still using this thing because it's fucking popping up at 17 different locations a day.
it's just like out in the spa or something.
I'm still horny. I'm just lazy. I can't be bothered. Anyway, it's too much information for everyone. All right, guys, it is time. It is time for Suck and Sweet. We're going to make it snappy because we have 8% battery left on the camera. Britt, what is your suck for the week?
I'm glad you asked that, Laura.
It's your face.
My suck for the week, it has to be my face. I'm not going to harp on about it because we've spoken about it, but it is the suckiest thing about it. But it's almost from my eyes down, I'm pretty healed, but I had to triple down on my forehead actually. I had to have 3 treatments, which is where the fringes come in. So like from my eyes down, I look okay. And then from my forehead up, it's still not great. So another day of the fringe.
Oh, I think it looks fine, like surprisingly fine. I was shocked by how fine you looked. I thought it was going to be worse.
We did come in and Laura, on the first day, I was a bit crusty and Laura was like, "Do you want to film on high definition 4K or do you want the soft lens on the camera?" And I was like, "I'm not afraid, put 4K on."
We've put Paris filter on all of this, just so you know. And what is your sweet?
My sweet for the week would have to be just having like a night that I haven't had in a long time, which is like that girls' night in. So there were 4 of us that went to Keisha's house and had to pay for our own dinner.
Oh, I saw I saw. I mean, I was down the coast, but I was sad.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't meant to be a thing. I just thought, because, you were saying that you were going to have this treatment and you were going to stay in. And I was like, look, I'm just going to stay in too. If you want to bring Delilah over, then the girls can play together.
And then one of our friends was egg freezing, so she couldn't go out either. And so it was just all of the losers that had nothing to do, basically.
There is a guy who wants to have sex with you, though, so don't worry. That loser sex is going to be really good.
That's where it came from. So that was my sweet. It was just like the wholesome, like, girls' night in that we needed.
Yeah, so my suck for the week is that all my friends went and had dinner together and didn't invite me.
And your sweet for the week is what? No one wants to have loser sex with you.
No. I joke. I went down the coast this weekend with Matt. But look, we actually had some real sucky stuff that happened this week, and I'll tell you about it when I can actually tell you about it properly.
Sorry, we got 6% left. It's not for today.
Yeah, it's not for today's suck. But I had a suck.
3%.
Oh, we're on 3%. Okay, I had a real suck on Sunday morning. So like after a very chaotic Saturday night, which I'll tell you about at some point, Lola got up and she'd only had a few hours sleep because we had to come back from Ulladulla literally middle of the night. She woke up, I was downstairs, and she fell face first down the stairs and like full tumble mode. And I like audibly screamed and ran to the stairs and got her because I was like, oh, this is a hospital trip. We're going now. And she was upset, but she was fine. That kid
she
is
just
rock
fell out of the
solid.
fridge. She's fine.
She literally has fallen down the fridge this
She's going to be a
week.
stuntman now.
She's fallen down the fridge and she somersaulted down the stairs, like a wooden flight of stairs, and was absolutely fine. She's got a couple of bruises on her hips, but she was like, sweet.
I'm good, Mum.
She was just scared. Anyway, so that happened. That sucked. And then my sweet for the week is on Saturday. We had a really, really beautiful Saturday down the coast with girls, and it was just like, oh,
I saw the river playing and the
Marley,
hole digging.
Marley was wrestling an anaconda in the river and Matt was digging a hole.
When I saw that, it looked like some giant snake. When she was in if you watch Laura's socials, like Marley was just basically in a little creek but with a big tree branch. But there was this, I reckon you probably got a lot of messages. There's this moment where it looked like she had an anaconda on her shoulder.
I did watch it back and I was like, it does look like my child is wrestling a sea serpent and my husband is digging a hole. What the fuck dystopian world is this?
You're trying to make her as resilient as Lola.
Yeah, well,
that's the anaconda.
If you're not following Lady and the Cat, that's on my Instagram at the moment. And
anyway, that's all we got time for, Laura. So
that's it, guys. We're out of here. If you've got any questions for Ask Uncut, slide on into the DMs. If you want to leave us a review, a nice one, go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review there. You can also join the discussion on Spotify. There's loads of ways that you can connect with us.
Yeah.
If you so deeply would like to, or share the episode with a friend because you know the drill.
That'd be great. And if you know someone with a blocked duct as well, you can send them this episode. Tell them to avoid Pound Town. Don't say we don't teach you something here.
BCD, we're here to just, spread the good word.
BCD. Anyway, remember, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your dog, tell your friends, and share the love because
we love love.